Have you ever heard of a hacker group so powerful it can steal billions of dollars and possibly help fund nuclear weapons? Not a movie, not fiction. This is the Lazarus Group, and if you think cybercrime is just about stolen passwords and spam emails, you're about to see how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Because Lazarus is not just a gang of nerds in hoodies, they are a weapon, linked to one of the most secretive regimes on Earth. And right now, as you watch this video, they might be breaking into a bank, a crypto exchange, or even your favorite game. Stay with me until the end, because what we're going to uncover about Lazarus will change the way you look at the internet forever. To understand Lazarus, we have to start in one of the most isolated countries on the planet, North Korea. A place where most citizens have no real internet access, where information is controlled, where the government maintains total power, and yet somehow, from this isolation, one of the most dangerous hacker groups in the world was born. The Lazarus Group is widely believed to be backed, supported, or even directly controlled by the North Korean government. Some analysts describe them as a cyber army. Others see them as a money machine, built to keep the regime alive under heavy international sanctions. Think about that. Most countries develop weapons you can see: tanks, missiles, fighter jets. North Korea builds something different. They build code, malware instead of missiles, keyboard instead of Kalashnikov, but the impact can be just as destructive. The world really began to notice Lazarus in 2014. Their target, Sony Pictures Entertainment. The reason? A comedy movie, a film called The Interview, which mocked North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. What started as a joke turned into a digital war. Hackers broke into Sony's network. They stole massive amounts of data, internal emails, personal information, unreleased films. Then, they wiped entire systems, destroying thousands of computers. They called themselves the Guardians of Peace. They threatened attacks on theaters. They tried to intimidate Hollywood into silence, and it worked. Sony pulled back. Cinemas were scared. The movie release was heavily altered. For the first time, a hacker group had successfully used cyberattacks to censor a major film studio. It was no longer just about money. It was about power, about sending a message. If you mock us, we can hurt you, even from the other side of the world. If the Sony attack showed the world that Lazarus could cause chaos, the next step showed they could steal on an unprecedented scale. In 2016, something unbelievable happened. Hackers tried to steal nearly $1 billion from the Central Bank of Bangladesh. Yes, 1 billion, and they almost got away with it. The attack was sophisticated. The hackers had infiltrated the bank's systems. They used the SWIFT network, the system banks use worldwide to move money. From inside the network, they sent a series of transfer requests to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Dozens of transfers, carefully timed, carefully structured. If all of them had gone through, Lazarus would have walked away with close to $1 billion. But something stopped them. Not an advanced firewall, not an elite cyber defense team, a typo. On one of the transfer requests, the word foundation was misspelled. This small error triggered suspicion. Transactions were paused, investigations were launched. In the end, the hackers still managed to steal about $81 million. But the world had just witnessed one of the boldest cyber heists in history. And behind it, many experts saw the fingerprints of Lazarus. A group patient enough to sit inside a bank network, skilled enough to manipulate international banking systems, and ambitious enough to attempt a billion-dollar robbery. As the world's financial systems began to tighten security, another opportunity appeared. Cryptocurrency, fast, decentralized, often anonymous. For regular people, crypto is an investment, a technology, a tool. For Lazarus, it became a goldmine. Over the years, Lazarus has been linked to massive hacks on crypto exchanges and blockchain projects. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars disappearing from digital wallets. In some cases, they used phishing. In others, they exploited vulnerabilities in smart contracts or exchange platforms. Sometimes, they simply found one weak machine, one careless user, one leaked private key. All it takes is one mistake, one click, one outdated server, and the money is gone. Some estimates suggest that Lazarus has stolen over $3 billion in cryptocurrency and traditional currency combined. And here's the most disturbing part. That money doesn't just buy luxury cars or mansions. It is widely believed that a large portion of these stolen funds is used to support North Korea's weapons programs, including missile development and nuclear weapons. Let that sink in. Lines of malicious code, turning into rockets. So, how does a group like Lazarus actually work? Contrary to the Hollywood image, this is not just one genius hacker in a dark room. It's a network, structured, organized. Some members are believed to operate from North Korea itself. Others may be stationed abroad in countries across Asia or even beyond, providing wider internet access and more cover. They use spear phishing emails, carefully crafted messages that look legitimate, designed to trick very specific targets into opening a link or attachment. They develop custom malware. They exploit zero-day vulnerabilities, security flaws that the software companies themselves don't even know exist yet. They hide inside networks for weeks or months. They watch, they learn how systems work, and when the time is right, they strike. Sometimes Lazarus uses fake companies, fake recruiters, fake job offers. They target developers, employees, anyone with access. They might send an offer for a high-paying job with a malicious PDF attached, or a test project that includes compromised code. If the victim runs the file or the project, the attacker gains a foothold inside their machine. This is not random. It's psychological warfare. They study human behavior as much as they study code. One of the strangest aspects of Lazarus is where they sometimes choose to operate, not just in banks, not only in governments, but in online games. For example, in some reports, North Korean operators are said to earn foreign currency by playing games, farming resources, or even exploiting in-game economies. And beyond that, gaming companies and platforms have become major cyber targets. Why? Because they store valuable data, payment information, credentials that might be reused on other sites, and because gamers focused on winning are often quick to click. A fake cheat, a performance booster, a mod from an untrusted source. For a hacker, that's a dream scenario. Behind entertainment, there is attack surface. At this point, you might be wondering, if Lazarus is so well known, why are they still active? The truth is, they are being hunted. Cybersecurity companies around the world analyze their malware. They give them names. They track their infrastructure. Governments issue sanctions. The United States has charged some alleged Lazarus members. They publish wanted posters. They describe individuals they believe are working for North Korean intelligence. But here's the problem. When your enemy is behind a heavily isolated border, arrests are complicated. Sanctions slow them down, but they don't completely stop them. Every time a server is blocked, another one appears. Every time a malware family is exposed, a new variant is created. Lazarus adapts. They evolve. Like a digital virus, learning to resist treatment. Now, you might think, I'm not a bank. I'm not a crypto exchange. I'm just a regular person. Why should I care about Lazarus? Here's why. Cyber war is not limited to governments and big corporations. Every device connected to the internet is part of a battlefield. Your computer, your phone, your router, your accounts. Maybe Lazarus is not targeting you personally, but they might target a service you use, a game you play, a platform that stores your data. And when those big platforms fall, regular people are the ones who lose money, privacy, and sometimes even their identity. And beyond that, there is a moral question. When stolen money is used to finance weapons, when hacks destabilize economies, cybercrime stops being just online. It becomes physical, geopolitical, real. So, what can we learn from the story of Lazarus? First, that the internet is not a neutral space. It is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used to build or to destroy. Second, that a small, highly skilled group can have global impact. Lazarus doesn't have aircraft carriers. They don't have worldwide military bases, but they do have keyboards, knowledge, and a government that is willing to use them. Third, that our defenses are often human, not technical. A typo stopped a billion-dollar heist. A careful employee refusing to click a suspicious link can stop an intrusion. A developer checking code sources can avoid introducing malware into a project. Every person online is part of the security chain, including you. The Lazarus Group is a shadow army. They don't wear uniforms. They don't march in parades. They move through fiber optic cables, wireless signals, and compromised servers. They turn code into cash, cash into weapons, and weapons into power. And yet, for all their sophistication, they are not ghosts. They leave traces. They make mistakes. They can be studied. They can be exposed. And every time we talk about them, every time we analyze their methods, we take away a little bit of that shadow. If you've made it this far into the video, you are already ahead of most people. You understand that what happens in the digital world is not separate from the real world. It shapes economies. It influences politics. It can start or prevent wars. So, the next time you see a headline about a massive hack, remember this story. Ask yourself, is this just another cybercrime, or could it be something bigger? Because somewhere, behind a screen, in a room you will never see, someone from Lazarus might be typing right now. If you found this video interesting, and you want to keep exploring the darkest corners of the digital world, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. This was Blacklight Files, and this was a look inside the Lazarus Group.